In 2005, an unlisted episode of Dora the Explorer titled Dora's Lost Adventure appeared on the internet. It wasn't part of the official series, and no one knew where it came from. The episode began normally, with Dora and Boots on a treasure hunt, but things quickly turned eerie. The familiar music was replaced with distorted sounds, and Dora's usual cheerfulness vanished. Her eyes grew dark, and her voice became shaky, repeating, "Help me find the way out, before it finds me." Boots stood motionless, staring blankly at the screen. As the episode progressed, the characters found themselves in a decayed, empty house. Doors slammed shut, and the sound of heavy breathing echoed behind them. Dora whispered to the camera, "They're coming for you. You shouldn't have watched this." The episode abruptly cut to black. Those who watched reported feeling cold chills and hearing faint whispers in their homes afterward. Some even claimed they could hear Dora's voice calling, asking for help. The video was soon removed from the internet, but rumors persist that it still exists somewhere, waiting to be found. What if there's a cursed broadcast that drives people insane? In 1997, rumors began circulating about a strange late-night broadcast known only as the Screaming Station. Allegedly aired on an unregistered frequency, this eerie show featured distorted voices, unsettling music, and blood-curdling screams. Those who listened reported horrifying side effects, vivid nightmares, paranoia, and even psychotic breaks. The most chilling part? Many claim the broadcast ended with a voice whispering their name, despite them never sharing it. When authorities investigated, they found no trace of the signal, leading some to believe it was a supernatural phenomenon or a sinister experiment in psychological warfare. Was the Screaming Station just an urban legend, or does it still lurk, waiting to find its next victim? Subscribe for more terrifying tales of the unknown. In 2013, a strange game began circulating on social media, known simply as the Blackout Game. It was an innocuous challenge. Participants were instructed to turn off all lights in their home, set a timer for 10 minutes, and sit in complete darkness, alone. The goal was to experience true fear, as if the dark could reveal the secrets of the mind. At first, it seemed harmless, but then, stories spread of people hearing soft, whispering voices during the blackout. Some reported seeing shadows moving just beyond the edges of their vision, while others claimed they felt something touching them in the dark, though they were alone. The more people played, the more unsettling the stories became. One man, Sam, was found in his living room after completing the game, clutching a piece of paper with a name written in a language no one could decipher. His eyes were wide with terror, his body rigid, but when questioned, he could only whisper, "It saw me." A few weeks later, Sam disappeared, and the game continued to spread. Those who played the game and went missing were later found in similar states, eyes wide, terrified, and mumbling names they'd never spoken. The game faded from social media, but some still claim to hear the whispering voices if they sit alone in the dark for too long. They say the game isn't over. It's just waiting for its next player. Would you dare to play? In 2011, a strange phone number, 555-1313, began circulating in a small town. Calling it would play a crackling tone, followed by an echo of the caller's voice. At first, it was a harmless curiosity, but soon, callers heard more than their echoes, whispered secrets they'd never shared, eerie predictions, and distorted versions of their own voices. One man laughed off a prophecy of his death, until it happened, exactly as foretold. A journalist investigating the number found its source in an abandoned factory, where a single phone sat ringing. When she answered, her own voice whispered, "Don't look behind you." She vanished without a trace, and the number stopped working, though some still claim to hear phantom ringing late at night. Would you answer? In 2010, a young couple bought an old house in the countryside, eager to escape the hustle of city life. The house had been empty for years, and its former owner had passed away under mysterious circumstances. But the couple found it charming, with its creaky floors and antique furnishings. The first night they spent there, they noticed something odd. Every time they descended the staircase, they felt an unnatural chill. It wasn't just the temperature. Something was wrong. The shadows on the stairs seemed to shift and move, lingering in the corner of their vision. One evening, As they were about to go to bed, the woman turned to her partner and asked, "Did you see that shadow?" He looked at her, confused, and replied, "What shadow?" Later that night, they both heard footsteps above them, as if someone was pacing across the upstairs hallway. They assumed it was the house settling until the next morning, when they found muddy footprints on the stairs, leading up, not down. Terrified, they decided to investigate the history of the house. What they found was chilling. The previous owner had died falling down the very same stairs. Some said her spirit had never left. One night, the woman was alone, sitting at the top of the stairs, when she saw the shadow. A dark, hunched figure standing at the bottom, its eyes glowing with malice. The figure moved toward her, and as it reached the top of the stairs, it whispered, "You should never have come back." The couple fled the house and never returned. But those who stay there after report seeing the shadow, still waiting on the stair. In 2015, a strange antique shop in a sleepy coastal town gained attention for selling an old ornate mirror known as the Midnight Mirror. The shopkeeper warned buyers never to look into it at midnight, claiming it would show them what they fear most. A thrill-seeker named Max bought it as a joke and tested the legend during a party. At the stroke of midnight, he peered into the glass and froze. His friends found him hours later, trembling and muttering, "It's still watching me." He never revealed what he saw. The mirror changed hands several times, each owner reporting strange occurrences, reflections that moved independently, shadowy figures lurking behind them, and a persistent feeling of being watched. The final owner, a young woman named Sarah, vanished after writing a single note. "It doesn't show your fear, it becomes it." The midnight mirror was later found shattered in her empty apartment. Yet some say, if you stand before any mirror at midnight and call for it, you might see its fractured shards staring back at you. Would you dare to look? In 1998, an urban legend began circulating about a hidden, never-before-seen episode of Sesame Street. Known only as the Unseen Room, this lost episode was said to have been found on an old VHS tape in a secondhand store. The episode began innocuously, with the usual sunny theme and the familiar characters: Big Bird, Elmo, Cookie Monster, and the gang. However, something was off. The colors on the screen appeared faded, the characters' movements jerky and unnatural. Big Bird was the first to act strangely. Instead of his usual cheerful self, he stood silently in the middle of Sesame Street, staring directly into the camera. His eyes were hollow, and his feathers appeared tattered and ragged. The other characters slowly joined him, their faces frozen in unsettling expressions. As the episode continued, the characters began moving in unnatural ways, turning their heads at impossible angles, whispering unintelligible words, and looking directly at the camera as if they were aware of the viewer watching them. Then, a door behind them opened, a door no one had ever seen before. It led to a pitch-black room. When the characters entered, the screen flickered and the audience heard faint whispers. The tape ended abruptly with a chilling message: "You are the next guest." Those who watched it claimed to hear faint whispers coming from their televisions long after the tape had finished. The episode was soon removed from circulation, and no copies of it remain, except for those few who were unlucky enough to see it. In 2003, an urban legend about a strange, never-aired episode of Blue's Clues began to spread among fans. The episode was titled The Final Clue, and it was said to have been discovered in an old, dusty tape in a defunct TV station's vault. The episode started innocuously enough, with Steve and Blue solving a typical puzzle around the house. But soon, things began to feel off. Steve's usual cheerfulness faded, and his smile grew wider, more forced. Blue, too, was acting strangely. Her tail wagged, but there was no excitement in her eyes. Then, the episode took a dark turn. Steve began asking strange questions, staring directly at the camera, his voice sounding more robotic with each word. "Do you want to know what the final clue is?" he asked, his eyes unblinking. The camera shifted to the living room, and there, in the corner of the room, was a shadowy figure, an unsettling silhouette that didn't belong. It was tall, hunched over, with no clear features, just an ever-shifting dark shape. Blue seemed to notice it too, but instead of barking, she backed away, looking terrified. Suddenly, the screen began to flicker, and a distorted voice whispered, "You've solved the wrong puzzle." The image froze for a moment before cutting to static. The last few seconds of the tape were unintelligible, filled with harsh noise, before it cut off completely. The episode was quickly removed, and no one has been able to track down a copy since. Some believe the broadcast was a warning, while others think it's a curse, one that no child or adult should ever witness. In 2007, a strange phenomenon began on local cable networks, Channel 404. It aired at random times, with no schedule or listings. Each broadcast began with static and a distorted title card that read, "Welcome to the last broadcast." The episodes were unsettling. Empty playgrounds swaying in the wind, shadowy figures lurking in dark rooms, and faces staring silently into the camera, their lips moving but no sound coming out. Viewers who tuned in started reporting bizarre occurrences. One woman heard whispers from her TV even after it was unplugged. A man saw his own face appear on screen, staring back at him in horror. The most chilling case was that of Eric, a teenager who became obsessed with recording the show. After watching one episode, he locked himself in his room, scribbling phrases like, "It sees me," and "Don't tune in again" on his walls. 2 days later, he vanished without a trace, his TV still tuned to static. Despite numerous investigations, Channel 404's origin remained a mystery. Technicians confirmed the signal didn't exist, yet sightings continued. Some believe the show is a doorway to something darker, and if you ever find yourself on Channel 404, don't hesitate. Change the channel, or you might become part of the last broadcast. During the construction of the Great Wall, a mysterious builder named Mung made a dark pact with ancient mountain spirits, promising his soul in exchange for protection and strength in his work. As the wall grew taller, Mung's behavior became increasingly strange. He often wandered off into the mountains at night, returning with hollow eyes and whispers following him. One fateful night, as the wall reached its highest point, Mung stood at the edge, staring into the darkness. When the workers called his name, he turned slowly, revealing an empty gaze. Without a word, he stepped backward into the abyss, disappearing into the shadows. The next morning, the section of the wall Mung had built had crumbled overnight. At the base of the ruins was a mysterious symbol, unlike any the builders had seen before, pulsing with an eerie energy. Since then, stories spread of eerie occurrences along that part of the wall, footsteps echoing in the night, strange whispers, and a shadowy figure roaming the ruins. It's said that Ming's spirit still haunts the wall, calling those who dare to wander near the cursed stones into the darkness. In the early 2000s, a lost episode of Teletubbies surfaced online, titled, "The Day the Sun Didn't Rise." At first, it seemed like just another strange episode of the children's show, but it quickly grew unsettling. The Teletubbies, usually cheerful and colorful, were different this time. Their smiles were wide, almost too wide, and their movements were jerky and unnatural. The sun, normally a joyful face in the sky, appeared distorted. Its face was cracked, its eyes hollow, and its smile twisted into something grotesque. As the episode progressed, the Teletubbies began to behave oddly. They stared directly at the camera, and Tinky Winky, the purple Teletubby, whispered in a voice that didn't sound like his usual playful tone, "We're waiting for you." Suddenly, the screen flickered and showed a dark, empty landscape, with the Teletubbies standing motionless in the middle of it. Their bodies grew blurry, as if they were being erased from existence. The sound faded into a deep, echoing silence, broken only by the distorted laughter of the sun. The episode ended abruptly, and the video vanished from the internet. Those who watched it reported nightmares of the Teletubbies staring at them, waiting for them to join them in that empty, dark world. No one knows where the episode came from, but those who found it warn others not to search for it. The Teletubbies aren't as innocent as they seem. If you see the other mother at night in your dreams, just run. This character, with her button eyes and sinister smile, is rooted in deeper horrors than her whimsical appearance suggests. The theory posits that she represents a dark manifestation of parental neglect and abandonment. Originating from Neil Gaiman's novella, The Other Mother is a twisted reflection of Coraline's real mother, who is overwhelmed and inattentive. Variations of this theory explore the unsettling idea that she lures children into a false paradise to feed on their souls, a grim echo of real-life stories of child exploitation. The haunting visuals and chilling essence of The Other Mother remind us of the dark corners of our own realities. Subscribe for more eerie tales. If you see a shadowy figure at night in Arendelle, just run. The chilling theory surrounding Disney's Frozen suggests that Elsa and Anna's parents are part of a darker narrative than viewers realize. Legend has it that their ship sank in a storm, but some fans believe they did not perish. Instead, they were victims of a sinister plot to hide a dark secret about their royal lineage. This theory connects to real events, such as maritime tragedies and royal betrayals throughout history. The chilling implications suggest that their disappearance was orchestrated to eliminate a threat to the kingdom. As layers of this haunting tale unfold, one wonders what else lies beneath the surface. Subscribe for more chilling theories. What if I told you that ancient Egyptian tombs are cursed? The curse of the pharaohs originated when tomb raiders disturbed sacred sites. Legends claim that vengeful spirits protect their resting places, bringing misfortune to intruders. The most famous case is that of Tutankhamun's tomb. After its discovery in 1922, several people associated with the excavation died under mysterious circumstances. Tales of illness, accidents, and even sudden deaths fueled fears of a curse. Variations of the story suggest ancient texts warned of dire consequences for those who disrespected the dead. These chilling narratives serve as a haunting reminder. Some doors should remain closed. Subscribe for more spine-tingling tales.
In the cobwebbed corner of her late grandfather's workshop, Mia discovered an ornate music box, its wood chipped, and the figurine of a ballerina missing an arm. Curious, she wound it up, and a haunting melody filled the air, discordant yet strangely hypnotic. What Mia didn't realize was that the music box once belonged to a girl named Celeste, who died tragically on the night of her final ballet performance. As the days passed, the music box would play on its own, its eerie tune echoing through the house. Mia began to notice fleeting glimpses of a figure in a tattered ballet costume reflected in mirrors and windows. She found herself inexplicably drawn to dance, her movements mirroring routines she'd never learned. One night, Mia awoke to find her feet blistered and bruised as though she'd been performing for hours. Desperate for answers, Mia uncovered an old newspaper clipping. Celeste's life was cut short in a tragic fall after someone sabotaged her performance. The music box, cursed by Celeste's unfulfilled dreams, ensnared those who touched it, forcing them to complete her final dance. Terrified, Mia tried to return the box to the workshop, but it followed her, always reappearing at her bedside. The final time she wound it, the melody grew deafening, and Celeste's figure materialized, whispering, "You'll dance for me forever now." Mia's screams were lost in the swirling music as the world faded into shadow. While exploring the storage room of her new home, Claire uncovered an antique mirror framed in tarnished silver, its surface slightly warped. Fascinated, she hung it in her bedroom, unaware of the stories tied to it. The mirror had once belonged to a recluse named Eliza, who disappeared without a trace, leaving behind whispers of a cursed reflection that consumed her. At first, the mirror seemed ordinary, but soon Claire noticed oddities. Her reflection would linger a moment longer after she moved, or she'd catch glimpses of shadowy figures behind her that vanished when she turned around. Then her reflection began to change, smiling when she wasn't, or moving when she stood still. Terrified, Claire tried to cover the mirror, but the blanket slipped off during the night. One morning, she found the words, "Let me out," scrawled in the condensation on the glass. Researching the mirror's history, she discovered that Eliza had been trapped within it after performing a ritual to see her true self. When Claire attempted to remove the mirror, she realized it was impossible to lift. That night, her reflection spoke, its voice a chilling echo of her own. "Your turn to stay." The next morning, Claire's parents found an empty bedroom. The mirror hung on the wall, its surface now perfectly smooth, and a faint, muffled scream echoed whenever someone stood too close. In the dusty attic of her grandmother's house, Lily stumbled upon an old doll, its porcelain face cracked, yet eerily beautiful. Intrigued, she brought it down to her room, unaware of its dark history. The doll once belonged to a girl named Evelyn, who mysteriously vanished one stormy night, leaving behind whispers of a jealous spirit. As Lily played with the doll, strange occurrences began. Shadows darted across her walls, and chilling whispers echoed in the silence. One night, she awoke to find the doll sitting upright at the end of her bed, its glassy eyes seemingly fixated on her. Heart racing, she tossed it aside. The next day, her friends wouldn't speak to her, their faces twisted in fear. Lily felt the weight of 1,000 stares, empty and cold, settling deep within her. Desperate, she researched the doll, uncovering the truth. Evelyn's spirit had never left, trapped within the porcelain shell, seeking revenge on those who dared disturb her rest. That night, Lily returned the doll to the attic, but it was gone. Instead, she found a note pinned to the wall in Evelyn's childish handwriting. "Now you play with me forever." In the cluttered attic of her aunt's Victorian home, Sophie uncovered a faded carnival mask, its once vibrant feathers now brittle, and its painted smile cracked. Something about the mask compelled her, and she brought it to her room as a quirky decoration. Little did she know, the mask belonged to a performer named Margot, who disappeared during a masquerade decades ago, leaving behind rumors of a sinister obsession. The moment Sophie hung the mask on her wall, strange things began happening. At night, muffled giggles filled her room, and faint music played as if from a distant ballroom. When Sophie wore the mask on a whim, she experienced fleeting moments of disorientation, her reflection showing someone else's face, a glamorous yet menacing figure. Haunted by these occurrences, Sophie dug into the mask's history, uncovering tales of Margot's untimely demise after a jilted admirer swore she'd never leave the masquerade alive. The mask, cursed by Margot's restless spirit, ensnared anyone who dared claim it. One evening, Sophie awoke to find herself dressed in an old-fashioned gown, the mask fixed to her face. Her reflection now stared back with Margot's mocking smile. Sophie tried to destroy the mask, but it always reappeared, and every morning she found herself more and more like Margot. The final message, scrawled on her bedroom wall in lipstick, sealed her fate. The show must go on. In the dim light of her attic, Clara discovered an old, dust-laden camera, its leather strap cracked with age. Intrigued, she decided to test it out, keen on capturing memories of her quiet home. After a few trial shots, she turned to her reflection in the attic mirror. As she pressed the shutter, a strange sensation prickled her skin. The flash illuminated the corner of the attic, where shadows twisted unsettlingly. Brushing it off as her imagination, she continued snapping pictures, each click echoing in the stillness. Later that evening, Clara developed the photos, her anticipation mounting. But when the images emerged, her heart dropped. In every shot, lurking behind her were figures, pale, twisted shapes that seemed to leer at her. Panic set in as she realized that in the last photograph, one figure was closer, its eyes glinting with malice. That night, she heard a whisper, a raspy voice calling her name, growing louder until it filled her head. The next day, Clara vanished without a trace. The camera remained, the last photograph still hanging in the air, waiting for another unsuspecting soul to discover its sinister secret. While cleaning out the cluttered basement of her family's century-old manor, Clara discovered an antique locket resting inside a cracked jewelry box. Tarnished yet alluring, the locket seemed to call to her. Curious, Clara opened it, revealing the sepia-toned portrait of a young girl with sorrowful eyes. What she didn't know was that the locket once belonged to Isabella, a child who vanished under mysterious circumstances long ago, leaving whispers of betrayal and rage. Clara began wearing the locket, unaware of the curse it carried. Soon, her nights were plagued by vivid dreams of drowning, and the faint sound of sobbing echoed through the halls. Objects moved on their own, and mirrors reflected more than just Clara's image. One evening, she woke to find water pooling around her bed, and Isabella's voice pleading, "Save me." Panicked, Clara sought answers, uncovering a tragic story of jealousy and murder. Isabella's spirit, bound to the locket, sought not just justice but company in her eternal misery. When Clara tried to return the locket to its resting place, she found it tightly clasped around her neck, the clasp broken and immovable. That night, she found a single message etched into her bathroom mirror. "You're mine now." In the heart of a forgotten cemetery, a young boy named Eli stumbled upon a grave overgrown with brambles. The name was barely legible, etched into crumbling stone: Abigail. Intrigued, he knelt down, brushing away dirt, when a soft whisper filled the air. "Help me," it pleaded, sending shivers down his spine. Eli glanced around, but the cemetery was empty, save for the rustling leaves. Compelled, he pressed his ear against the stone. "They won't let me go," the voice lamented, sending his heart racing. Each day after school, Eli returned to the grave, drawn by the whispers that grew more frantic. "Dig. Find me," it urged, as if urging him to uncover long-buried secrets. His friends warned him to stay away, but the allure of the voice consumed his thoughts. One fateful evening, driven by a mixture of dread and curiosity, Eli brought a small shovel. As he dug, the soil felt unnaturally cold. Suddenly, the ground shifted, and Eli's hands brushed against something slick. Panic surged. He unearthed a small, hollow casket. When he opened it, he screamed as a shriveled hand grasped his wrist, pulling him into darkness. The whispers ceased, and the cemetery fell silent, waiting for the next curious soul. In a dusty attic, Sarah found an old porcelain doll, its painted eyes glinting mischievously in the dim light. Intrigued, she took it home, thinking it would make a perfect gift for her younger sister, Lily. That night, as the house settled into silence, Sarah heard a soft voice drifting from the doll. "Help me," it whispered, sending chills down her spine. Dismissing it as her imagination, she fell into a restless sleep, the doll perched ominously on her bedside table. The next day, Sarah noticed oddities. Lily spoke of a new friend who told her secrets about their family, things no one but Sarah had known. As dazed, the whispers grew clearer, revealing truths that spiraled into darkness. The doll shared the tale of a girl named Eliza, who had gone missing decades ago, a girl who had once owned a similar doll. One stormy night, Sarah awoke to find the doll gone,